Just when everyone was cautiously optimistic that gas prices might ease before summer peaked, Iran stopped all negotiations with the United States and vowed to completely block the Strait of Hormuz. Oil jumped 7% within hours. Gas was already at a 4-year high. And analysts are now warning that prices could hit $5 per gallon before summer ends, and may take as long as a year to return to pre-war levels even after the strait eventually reopens. This video is going to show you exactly what that means for your budget and what to do about it right now. Let us start with what Iran actually announced, because understanding it in plain English changes how you think about your budget for the rest of the summer. The Strait of Hormuz is a narrow waterway connecting the Persian Gulf to the global oil market. Before the US and Israel launched military operations against Iran on February 28, approximately 20% of the world's daily oil supply passed through that strait. Since the conflict began, Iran has been progressively restricting traffic, and this week they made clear the restriction is about to get tighter, not looser. Iran's state media reported that Iranian negotiators would stop all communications with the United States and move to completely block the strait. The announcement cited ongoing military operations and the absence of a genuine ceasefire. Oil prices jumped 7% immediately. For weeks before this announcement, markets had been pricing in some hope of a diplomatic resolution. Gas prices had shown early signs of easing slightly. That hope is now gone. The relief everyone was waiting for has been canceled, and the timeline for any resolution has become genuinely uncertain. Yahoo Finance projects that gas prices may take as much as a year to return to pre-war averages, even after the strait eventually reopens. The supply disruption that has been building since February is not going to resolve quickly, regardless of what happens diplomatically in the coming weeks. Here is the fuel cost reality for American households in June 2026. Gas hit $4.56 per gallon over Memorial Day weekend, the highest Memorial Day price in 4 years. For the average American driver filling a 15-gallon tank once a week, that is over $1,000 more in annual fuel costs compared to 12 months ago. The same driving habits, going to the same places, working the same job. With Iran now doubling down on the blockade rather than negotiating toward reopening, the $5 per gallon threshold that analysts had been treating as a worst-case scenario is now being discussed as a realistic summer possibility. The all-time record national average was $5.02 per gallon in June 2022. The current trajectory puts that record within range. And the tax refund cushion that softened the blow in the first quarter, for many families the largest single deposit of the year, is now gone. The second and third quarters of 2026 will reflect the full weight of elevated fuel costs with no offset. Here is what that means in monthly budget terms. 30% of Americans are currently putting gas on a credit card they can't pay in full at the end of the month. At 22% APR, a $50 fill-up charge to a revolving balance does not cost $50. It costs over $61 once the interest compounds across 12 months. The pump price was already painful. The credit card multiplies it. Here is the part of the gas price story that most people never connect, and it hits your budget twice. 90% of American groceries are transported by diesel trucks. Diesel prices follow crude oil prices. When crude jumps 7% in a single morning, as it did this week, the cost of delivering every item on every grocery store shelf in America goes up. That cost does not hit the shelf instantly. It filters through the supply chain over 4 to 8 weeks, which means the grocery price pressure that has already been running 12% on beef and 7.5% on vegetables is about to get another push from this week's Iran announcement. You are not just paying more at the pump. You are paying more at the pump and at the checkout simultaneously, because the same conflict is driving both costs through the same diesel fuel supply chain. The combined impact on a typical household budget, elevated gas costs plus elevated grocery costs driven by the same underlying fuel prices, is running well over $150 per month above what families were paying before the Iran war began in late February. Here are 5 specific moves that reduce what you spend on fuel right now, without changing where you need to go or what you need to do. Move 1. Use a gas cashback app every single fill-up. Apps like Upside offer 2 to 25 cents per gallon back at participating stations. At current prices, that recovers $5 to $15 per month with zero change to your driving habits. Move 2. Fill up on Monday or Tuesday. Gas prices typically rise heading into the weekend as demand increases and fall back midweek. AAA data consistently shows Monday and Tuesday as the lowest price days at most stations. A simple habit of midweek fill-ups can save 5 to 15 cents per gallon over time. Move 3. Combine all errands into a single efficient trip. Every cold engine start burns more fuel during the warm-up period than a car already at operating temperature. One connected trip instead of 3 separate outings can reduce your weekly fuel consumption by 10 to 15% with no change to where you go. Move 4. Check your tire pressure this week. Underinflated tires reduce fuel economy by up to 3% according to the Department of Energy. At $4.56 per gallon, that 3% inefficiency costs real money over a summer of driving. The recommended pressure is on the sticker inside your driver's side door frame, not the maximum on the tire itself. Move 5. Stop charging gas on a revolving credit card. Pay with debit or cash at every fill-up. Every gallon charged to a 22% card costs significantly more than the pump price once the interest compounds. The discipline of not adding fuel to a revolving balance saves you a meaningful percentage of what you spend on gas every single year. Here is the most important action in this entire video. Update your summer fuel budget today. Whatever you were planning to spend on gas this summer, add 15 to 20% on top of it. That gap has to come from somewhere in your monthly budget. Identify the category now, intentionally, before the credit card makes that decision for you at the end of the month. Open your last 4 weeks of bank or credit card statements. Find every gas station charge. Add them up and divide by 4. That is your real monthly fuel cost right now. Update your budget line to that number. Then identify one category that shrinks to compensate. Dining out, streaming subscriptions, impulse spending. One targeted adjustment that makes the math work before the summer is over. Every dollar you recover from smarter fuel habits and redirect to your highest interest debt is a guaranteed return equal to your interest rate. At 22%, that is a guaranteed 22% return on money you were going to spend on gas anyway, just spent more efficiently. The Iran announcement this week changed the timeline for relief. It did not change the math of debt payoff. That math still works in your favor every single day regardless of what the pump says. Disclaimer: this video is for educational purposes only. Individual results may vary. Please consult a financial professional for advice specific to your situation. The Debt Defense System and the Finance Reset Toolkit are both in the description below. The Finance Reset Toolkit maps your complete budget at real summer 2026 costs, including fuel at what it actually costs right now. The Debt Defense System gives you the 30-day plan that turns every recovered dollar into guaranteed debt payoff progress regardless of what Iran decides next. Check the description below for all links. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at Pocket Pilot Fina, and subscribe for daily money moves that actually work. Subscribe now, new money tip every single day.